I have a 2019 Cherokee. It is a Latitude Plus, and I haven't had anything go wrong with it. Yesterday I had an issue. I finally had an issue. So the lights on the dash just started going crazy. I was hauling some heavy loads, and I thought maybe I knocked something off kilter because it happened in the middle of doing that. So I had some pavers on the side of one side of the vehicle. I thought, okay, maybe I knocked things off balance, but I took everything out, disconnected the battery, and reconnected after a few minutes, and everything came back. And man, I've been freaking out. Oh man, finally I got a problem. And I do, but the car is drivable. I did a lot of research. There hasn't been a lot, but a lot of it points to a wheel sensor. I did check those out. A very cursory check, just going under with a flashlight. Didn't see anything obvious. And so I don't know. I thought maybe I screwed something up with hauling those pavers, or maybe it's just time that something broke here. So I went to O'Reilly's and got the code checked. I did my own code check, and it had a very basic code that's saying that there was a mismatch in the readings. So that can also point to a sensor, but it was a vague answer for me. I didn't see anything specific. So I went to O'Reilly's. I said, "Do you do ABS codes?" And he said, "No." I said, "Well, do one anyway." And he did one, and I don't know if we're not communicating, but an ABS code did come up, and it pointed to the right front sensor, wheel sensor. And looking at prices yesterday, I am not going to buy one from O'Reilly's if the car is drivable. And since the car is drivable, I don't want to pay more than double at O'Reilly's when I can get a Mopar part at Rock Auto. I think it's less than 20 bucks for a Mopar sensor. So I think I might get two and see how that goes. I'm feeling a little more positive than yesterday. I thought, oh my God, I got to take it to the dealership. There's something majorly wrong. All these lights are going off. I got electrical problems. Maybe I do. We'll see. All right, now that we're parked, I can add a few more things here. Yes, the vehicle is drivable in this situation, but you will notice things like the power steering doesn't feel right. It's almost, it's diminished. It's still usable. It just takes a slightly more effort. It's not, it's not difficult, but you can just tell that it's not working smoothly anymore, the power steering. I don't want to say it's not working at all, because it's not that hard to steer, but it takes more effort. Brakes still work. You're just not going to have ABS and traction control. And this parking light is on, which means it's getting bad messages from the parking system. I do find that the emergency brake does work, I believe, but it's saying to... Sorry, trying to shut it off. Okay. That says service park brake. So it's affecting many things. And I don't drive it a lot because I'm sort of semi-retired here. But I do need to take it to the beach, and I need four-wheel drive, or I need the option for four-wheel drive on the beach in case the conditions are really thick sand and I need to get out of there. That's why I have this Jeep in the first place for the most part, plus on my mountain hunts to Colorado. But that's only once a year. Mostly I use it in soft sand conditions on the beach. And if I don't know for sure that that's going to work, then it's not usable for that situation, and I do have to get this addressed. So I'm glad I can drive it, but I have to get down to what the problem is. All right, I do have a cheap code reader, one of those you get on eBay, and it's helpful sometimes. In this case, it gave me these two errors. You can look at them, do what you will with them. What they pointed me to was a generic problem with the information that the system is pulling. And so, unfortunately, it wasn't specific enough to tell me, if it was a sensor problem. It's a possible problem if you Google it, but it doesn't tell you which sensor. Anyway, off to O'Reilly's, and I got their scan done. I did get that same first error, the U1412, which is the same thing I got. But then he said, yeah, I have some ABS information here. And I got this one. And with a code. And giving me something more specific. Right front wheel speed sensor. That's what I wanted. That's what I was hoping to hear. Something specific that I could do myself possibly. And that's the next step. All right, I'm here at the front right wheel. I'm about to take it off. It's all jacked up. The blocks are on the rear tires. But before I take it off, I want to just do a preliminary investigation here. See if it's possible that I also have a problem with my wheel hub. Now, I don't know if I'll know for sure. I'm just going to do a little shake here. Make sure it's not an obvious wheel hub problem. It still might be. And I don't want to get too far into this if it's something obvious with not the sensor but with the wheel hub. So it still might be, but there's no movement at all. The sound seems normal. It's not really grinding. But that doesn't always mean that there's no problem with the wheel hub. Let's assume it's okay for now. And then I'm going to go ahead and deal with this sensor. So, okay, now the wheel's off. I'm going to also examine for anything obvious with the brakes. Make sure, nothing's broken. They're old and dusty, but, maybe there's a rock wedged in here somewhere. The brakes appear to be normal as far as what I can get on camera here, but other things that I can do here while I have the wheel off is look for damage to the brake or something wedged in. Debris, rocks, something like that. And I'll do the best I can to show, but the light isn't great, so that's what I'm doing here for step 2. I would rather not do this more than once, so I'm gonna get my reading glasses on and a flashlight and really get back here and look. Is it possible? Is it possible that something else is going on here? I'm glad I have my error code that's directing me to the sensor, but just in case, I want to make sure there's nothing going on here. And this is just from what I can see. I'm looking for obvious things. Again, checking to see if there's any grinding noises. I'm not really hearing anything like that, so don't really feel like doing a hub job, so hopefully we're talking about the sensor. And by the way, here's the sensor. Still looking, okay, so it plugs in here, by the way. It goes down this way. Looking for any damage to the wire. Gets held in position by these clasps. But I can't see everything with this camera. This is the end of the sensor that goes into the wheel. And I don't see any or feel any damage to this wire all the way up and down. So, unfortunately or fortunately, depending on what happens, there's nothing obvious going on with external damage to this sensor. My new sensors arrived yesterday. I got 2 of them. I'm only going to install 1 today and have an extra because they're only, I think, 14 bucks. This is the Mopar. I think that's the part number. Should be. There's like 10 different part numbers that cross-pollinate on these things, so hopefully I got the right one. It looks right. Looks new. So, there it is. So one end of the sensor is attached with tabs. The other end, you need a 10mm socket, and I'm going to tackle this end first because I just like to do the things that have the potential for most challenges first. I'm hoping there's not any challenges, but I'm going to take this on first in case it's stuck or something else happens. So let me try that first. 10mm. It's coming right off. I didn't get the break, but it was simple. So this is always good news. These go smoothly. Trying to show you everything, but it's hard to show you what I'm doing, but I got it to move a little bit, and I only use 2 hands to twist and pull, and that's going to be hard to see. Let me try with one hand. It's pretty loose, so twisting and pulling gently, and it's going pretty well. Well, the end looks a little dusty. That's about it, but not sure what I'm looking for. Dust is to be expected, so it's not obviously broken. Okay, nothing obvious to see in this hole for you guys. Not sure what you can see at this point, but looks like a relatively clean chamber. This I'm going to clean off with a rag, taking care not to let whatever dust is on there. It's fine. A little bit of corrosion, so maybe I'll get some sandpaper on that. Yeah, I'm gonna tidy that up as best I can here, so it's level and smooth. I have some really fine grade sandpaper here. It's 600. I'm not gonna do much. That's good enough. It doesn't look it, but it's pretty smooth, and that's all I dare to do. I don't want to mess up the surface. Alright, we're traveling from that side up, and we have the tab here, and these are hard to do on film. I usually need 2 hands, but let's see. Yeah, let me see. Right, this tab has to be pressed down on this side here, and that went pretty well. Everything's dirty. All right, so this stays. This, hold on. The new part for reference, it looks like this has to get just pulled out. All right. There we go. That's what's holding it in. Square receptor there. Then we're going to just pull this out. Comes right off. Comes right off. Comes right off with one hand here, and the sensor, the hopefully damaged sensor, comes out. Let's have a look. I hope I got the right part. Is it the same? I'm happy to see that the length looks the same. I don't want to say which part to get, but I think I got the right part here. There is some confusion out there with what level of trim you have, but for my needs, this looks like it's going to work out. Okay, I'm going to reverse the order of what I did here. Make sure that's seated. This guy's gonna go in here. Oop. Hopefully that was a click. I'm gonna double check that, make sure everything's right. And that wire, by the way, looks fine. Something else to examine. Alright, this seems like it's fine. Okay, I heard a click. Should be good. Sure hope so. I don't know if this should be on the outside of this wire or the inside. I'm going to have to review the video. Yeah, I don't know if it matters, but this has to go on the inside. This came out on the outside, so I'm going to put it back the way it was. Alright. Now we can proceed putting this back. Putting, I believe, this back. Huh. Feels a little different. I don't know. That's weird. Yep, I did it wrong. I did it upside down. When something doesn't look right, even if you're not making the video, it's helpful to reference. There we go. That makes a heck of a lot more sense. That's the way it goes. It just didn't look right. Okay, what are we doing next here? Here we go. Alright. I feel much better about that. So, hold on. Alright, so making our way down here. Make sure everything's in there good. And the next step, of course, is to put the sensor back in. Got to get back down there. One more wipe of the area to make sure no dust gets sent in there along with it. Make sure you don't lose the screw. It doesn't come with a screw, the new one, so make sure you keep it going in nicely. No resistance, just nice and tight. Let me get this started. Going just fine. Not going to make this tight. Just one hand. Don't crush it. Make sure it's secure. I wouldn't say tight. It's plastic, so don't crush it. That's all I dare to do. Alright, well, that's on there. All the secure points are in. And it is plugged in. Time to put the wheel back on. Alright, so we have the wheel back on. Here's a quick note about best practices, which I am not an expert at all on. But I have heard that before you do this kind of job, you should disconnect the negative battery terminal. I did not. We will see if that is a factor at all. But I got excited, just went right into the job. And actually I'm sort of curious as to whether it matters or not, but others might say, hey, you got to disconnect that battery cable before you do any kind of work on parts and sensors. So I didn't. We got to test it anyways. Alright, still having the errors just on startup. Let's see what happens if we drive it around. Hey, I don't like to film and drive, but I just went about 20 yards and the lights went out. So, little squiggly line with the park sense and the traction control, and not seeing that anymore. At first I was concerned, but I guess it doesn't know. The system doesn't know until you take it out a little bit. And I didn't take it out much. I just barely got to this little parking lot here, which is right by my house. And obviously the check engine light is still on, but I'm going to take it for a drive here. The beeping stopped. Okay, not only are the lights gone, the steering is back to what it once was when it wasn't as difficult to steer. So that seems back to normal. Not hearing the clunk in the front right wheel anymore when you engage. And so now the vehicle seems to be driving normally. And it didn't take much driving around at all. I just barely went out of my driveway, reversed out, started forward, like I said, 30 yards or so, and then the lights went out. This is looking encouraging for a $15 part, and I got two, just in case I needed one. And if this fixed it, I am really glad that I didn't have to do a hub job. I've done them before. I just not really what I want to do anymore. I'm willing to. This is encouraging. All right, coming in for a landing at home soon here, and things seem to be back to normal from what happened the other day. Took about a week from the incident to getting the part ordered and shipped, and then fixing it just in well, it took longer because of the filming, but everybody says it's a half-hour job for any kind of job. Oh, it takes me a half hour. Never takes me a half hour, but this, in theory, could take you a half hour. All right, well, hopefully that is the end of this project. I'm feeling pretty good about it. I do these videos because I hate the feeling of something going wrong with the vehicle in the middle of normal life, and I start, I shouldn't say panicking, but it's not a good feeling. I want to totally avoid going to the dealership or any other mechanic, really. And I make these videos in case some other guy out there is having the same experience and their day is maybe ruined. Kind of ruined my day the other day, but I kind of regroup and do some research on it. And even if this wasn't your problem, I hope it takes this part of it out of the equation and gets you a little closer to whatever your problem is. But hopefully this is the problem, because this is a pretty easy problem to solve. I'm not calling complete victory yet, but it's looking pretty promising. So have a great day. See you later. Well, it doesn't really matter if we don't catch fish, but we are back in business with the Cherokee here. And that means it's a good day.